What is up, everybody, and welcome to Monday Night Football to kick off holiday week. Thanksgiving week is upon us, and every day is a little bit of a holiday, and we're going to kick it off with some Monday Night Football. A great game tonight. We're going to walk you through some plays we like, answer all the questions, get those questions in. Monday nights are Squirrel Night. We're joined by Squirrel Butcher, fresh off of his flight to King of the Beach. You're going to have to tell me where you went and how your vacation went.
It was good, yeah. Just popped down to Miami for a couple of days. Actually got back yesterday, so like last night, late last night. But it was good. Good trip. I did not see the beach or the ocean. I saw it out my window, actually. So just there for 2 days, mostly indoors, doing fantasy football. But still, a great time. Finished 31st. Had Cooper Kupp and Curtis Samuel. So Curtis Samuel got ejected. Cooper Kupp got hurt in like the first quarter. So finishing 31st felt like an accomplishment. On to Monday Night Football.
Yeah, it happens. Those injuries will get you, man. Those injuries will get you. But sounds like you had a pretty good team otherwise. And, okay. I mean, you can't really go there expecting to win necessarily. You're just hoping to have a good time and enjoy the festivities. And sounds like it was good. Now I've got these visions of Miami in my head. Like I don't know. Like, how is it? How's Miami? Like, is it really as like pretentious as it seems on TV?
Couldn't tell you. I was just in the hotel.
Oh, you just stayed in the hotel. Fair enough, man.
We went to a steakhouse. It was Smith and Walensky's. It was the same in Miami as it is most places. Good steak. That was about it. It seemed like it was warm when I was like going from the airport to the Uber. It was warmer than like the DC area.
How was the hotel? Was it a nice hotel?
Yeah, the hotel was excellent. They always do it up. I did go to the hotel bar. That was good. The food was good. Everything was excellent. And I'll be back in Miami in a few weeks. Actually, this time I'll be bringing my wife. This trip I just went down solo. Was just there for a couple nights, and 3 weeks we'll go for the FanDuel final. And I'm actually going to be there for like 3 nights, I think. So probably get a little bit more of the experience then.
Now, how many trips has she taken with you on these things?
Let's see. I don't know.
Plenty?
A handful. She has the thing that she feels like she's bad luck. And it's just a matter, I think the first couple she went on, I did like pretty poorly. Like one of them, it's a baseball final. I had one lineup, I finished 80th. And it was, she's like, when does this really start? I'm like, it's like the 8th inning. The starts happened, a while ago. Then she was there with me in Chicago last year. I finished second in the FanDuel baseball final. So I got that turned around the karma of her thinking that it's bad luck when she attends these. It'll be fun.
So that's going to be the trip where you actually have to get out of the hotel. You gotta do it up that one. But we got a great game tonight. Like maybe one of the best all year long. Rematch of last year's Super Bowl. We get it for tonight. So I think it's going to be fun. Maki 222. He asked, "Did you play DeVito?" You didn't play Danny DeVito, did you?
Oh yeah. Tell me. I said the week before on the Sunday show with Eric that like, I'll play Tommy DeVito at some point this year, maybe when he plays the Commanders. And it turned out DeVito was playing the Commanders. Yesterday he did pretty well. I actually played Saquon Barkley to get my Giants exposure.
Very nice.
The 13 points implied point total. But they looked a lot better than people were expecting and upset the Commanders there. I wanted to play Dorian Thompson-Robinson so badly. He actually was the cheap quarterback that caught my attention as the week went on, but just couldn't pull the trigger and ended up playing Sam Howell. And that was a little bit of a disappointment. He did okay. Just the Curtis Samuel getting ejected probably cost me a handful of points, and then the Cooper Kupp thing is really that was like my big spend up. I spent up for Tyreek Hill, but if I just played like Tank Dell instead of Cooper Kupp, right, I would have been like competitive at least for the top 5. But oh well.
Now, did you see the? I don't know if you were watching. Did you see the the Cooper Cup touchdown that he dropped. And brutal because I was rooting for some Cup too, and yeah, that's ugly, man. But yeah, man, it happens. All right, guys, get those questions in. I'm gathering them as we speak. I'm keeping track of them. I'm bookmarking them all. We're gonna get to them all. We got about 29 minutes left before this thing kicks off. We'll answer all these questions and then whatever else you got, and we won't leave you high and dry. But real quick, let's look at the inactives to see if there's anything that catches the eyes right here on tonight's game. For KC, I don't see anything big. Richie James still inactive. I don't know if he's been active all year long, but I remember there was about a 3-week window there during the summertime when the Best Ball Bros told me it was going to be Richie James season this year with Patrick Mahomes. That has not happened. So I don't think that move, like Richie James being out, doesn't move the needle for you, does it?
You gotta draft your best ball teams early in the year, like the spring, so you can get all your Richie James exposure before people like catch on to
crazy stuff. But on the other side here, what we got? Okay, Derek Barnett's out. He's a defensive end / linebacker that actually plays a little. I don't know if Dallas Goedert, we expect that. We expect that he's hurt. Probably wasn't coming back this week. We'll see if that opens up anything for anybody. We can talk about that in a minute. And Rashad Penny seems like a healthy scratch. I don't know if he's injured. Maybe he's injured and we don't know about. But I'm going to assume he's a healthy scratch. Not the first time, but it is a significant development in terms of somebody from that backfield was going to be a healthy scratch tonight. And it wasn't going to be DeAndre Swift. So that leaves Swift and the other guy, whoever wasn't going to be inactive. That leaves them. So Goedert, Penny, does any of that stuff move the needle for you?
No, it's all expected. That's kind of the way the week was shaping up. So that's pretty much as we were predicting it.
Okay, so we can move on now. Let's see here. Let's get to a couple questions here real quick. JB, favorite captain in a large field on DraftKings? Let me see. And yeah, that's his question. He had another one. It's about the same question though. So give me your favorite captain in a large field on DraftKings.
So probably my favorite is DeAndre Swift, but it's close between Swift and Kelsey. I'm kind of playing this game two ways. One is the Chiefs win, and one is the Eagles win. But I think if the Chiefs win, it's probably going to be behind the passing game, Travis Kelsey. If it's going to be the Eagles winning, I think it's going to be on the running game. So those are my two favorite. Like if you're leaning Chiefs, maybe you go Kelsey. If you're leaning Eagles, I think you go with Swift.
Yes, if I was answering that question, I actually I think Swift is in my top two also. But I also, instead of Kelsey, I think my other guy would be Jalen Hurts. And I just think that there's something like the ownership seems kind of really dispersed tonight in a manner in which I'm not, maybe in a large field, there's just not that many guys I'm going to avoid. And I just, let's spend up and one or the other. I think Hurts has a big running game, or I think Swift has a big running game. I'd like one of those guys in. All right, let me see here what we got. Realistic. Okay, Matt D wants to know realistically which players, I assume skill players, have 2 touchdown upside tonight for semi-cheap. You have any 2 touchdown bangers for us?
I mean, for semi-cheap, that's tough. Because the Chiefs are known to spread it around. I mean, yeah, that's really maybe like Jerick McKinnon's like even overpriced. I mean, if you think McKinnon's cheap, I'd say like McKinnon and maybe like Kenneth Gainwell have like the best like 2 touchdown upside. Among the cheap like Chiefs wide receivers, I think Justin Watson is probably my favorite. I don't know that I would say he has 2 touchdown upside, but I mean it's a possibility. I would go with like the backup running backs for 2 touchdown upside, and then Watson probably after that.
Yeah, I mean for cheap 2 touchdowns, that's a tough one. I'm with you on the Gainwell. Maybe he's he'll get some goal line carries every once in a while. If Swift gets him down there and he's a little bit winded, you might get a catch out of the backfield with him. So maybe the Gainwell thing. I was kind of eyeballing Watson too. Maybe a tight end not named Travis Kelsey. maybe that's part of the Andy Reid playbook tonight is you think it's going to be Kelsey inside the 5. Really, we're going to throw to the other tight end inside the 5, and you just never know. So I think those are all realistic options, especially if we think this game is going to play out in a very efficient or high-powered offensive manner, which is a definite possibility tonight. That's a game script. So there's a lot of touchdowns. Yeah, for sure. Travis Daniels would like to know, does the weather change anything for you? I haven't even checked. I don't think the weather report is going to move the needle for me. I know the weather report typically doesn't move the needle for you, but have you seen anything tonight that makes you question anybody?
I think it's supposed to rain, and that's probably not a huge deal, right? Like, as soon as you start to think the weather is going to like impact the passing game because of precipitation, you start to see the defensive backs like slipping around, right? And then AJ Brown's running for an 80-yard touchdown. So your precipitation doesn't like move anything from me. I think the running game, especially on the Philadelphia side, maybe like an underrated. So if anything, it maybe makes me lean a little bit more towards that. Like the Philly run defense probably is going to be pretty good even in the rain. So
yeah, I stopped paying attention to the weather many years ago. Like if you get something crazy, sure I'll think about it. But I've been I was doing a live final one time way back when they had Star Street was a thing, and they said big snow in Philly, huge snow. Like I'm thinking, and in my head I'm thinking, man, like and they're talking about feet of snow, and I'm thinking, how are they going to play in snow? Like these guys are going to be having to high step everything. All this snow is going to be on the field, and LaShawn McCoy goes for like 3 touchdowns against Detroit and absolutely smashes it, and breaks everything wide open. Then another time, I remember this wind in New England. It's going to be in Gillette is going to be like terrible, and it's going to be bad weather. And Tom Brady proceeded to go out there and throw for 6 touchdowns, and they won that game like 50-something to nothing. And I was like, oh man,
that's 2009. That's the one I remember. Is Titans. Randy Moss went berserk, and it was like, I was getting them out of my season long. Hey, that was back in the day. It was 2009, right?
So I started. Yeah. That's when I quit looking at weather.
Right. Yeah. No. I remember that game. I was actually in Boston that game. I wasn't at the game, but I was in Boston, and like it was in Boston, waiting from the train station to the hotel, walking, and then like Tom Brady went out for like 6 touchdowns.
Yep. So I stopped looking at it unless it'd have to be like something crazy, but I don't think that's tonight, so I'm not worried about that, Travis. But appreciate the question. A lot of people do wonder about that kind of stuff. But let's see. We got GR Saucedo. Would you play both defenses together in a single or a 3-entry max on DraftKings? So small field, single entry, 3-entry max, both defenses in the same lineup. Interesting.
I wouldn't. I prefer the kickers to the defenses for this one. I always feel like defenses are a little bit overowned and kickers are a little bit underowned. I mean, with the rain, it's maybe not crazy. I think it'll be overowned.
I would say, Saucedo, if that's your game script, then that's fine. 2 defenses in one. Like if that's the way you're seeing it play out, which it could. If you have like a more of an offensive-minded game script, I really don't think that's the way to go. Like if you have an offensive-minded game script, instead of spending down on defense, spend down at another skill player and hope for a touchdown. But like if you're thinking it's going to be a defensive battle, and it could be. The Chiefs have been very good defensively. Jalen Hurts takes a lot of sacks, and on the flip side, the Eagles bring a lot of pressure. It could be a narrative thing. They got shut out of the Super Bowl last year with the whole sack thing, and the offensive line for KC didn't allow a sack, and then they bragged about it afterwards. Are the Eagles going to make let that motivate them? So it could be. So if that's your game script, go for it. But I'm with Squirrel. I probably wouldn't do both of them, but that's not my game script. All right. Got 2 questions from Carolina guy. I'm going to let you answer one, then I'll answer one. First question for you. In FanDuel, a GPP, 1 bullet to win it all, favorite contrarian MVP. Large field GPP, 1 bullet, win it all, favorite contrarian MVP.
I think DeAndre Swift, especially on FanDuel, because that's a way you can see the game going where the Eagles are getting the rushing touchdown. Swift is getting it. And I think he'll be a little bit underowned. I mean, he's not like super off the board. It's just so hard without the salary multiplier to get really, really off the board on FanDuel. So I'd go Swift. I guess we're showing him about the fifth owned there, but still sub 6%. So that's the way I would lean.
Well, and his second question was favorite single entry MVP, and I was actually going to say Swift too. So I think it plays out. I just feel like Philly's going to run the ball, whether it's Swift or whether it's Hurts. I think somebody's going to run the ball well. I think a guy like Hurts just plays better than Mahomes because of the rushing. And Mahomes could do the whole 5 touchdown thing himself tonight, but I like Hurts' upside because of the running more than Mahomes. And then I like Swift as a running back. So we got that going forth. We got the TJ is in chat, and he keeps on saying Devontae Smith. I'm thinking he thinks Devontae is the guy for him tonight. What do you think about Devontae Smith?
It's hard to pass on the Chiefs defense. I think it's easier to run on them. So, that's why I'm leaning towards Swift, the running back. But, it could be a Devontae Smith game. I'm kind of ending up underweight AJ Brown a little bit. It's not like I think he's a bad player. Just I think maybe not his game. Maybe he's going to be a little bit overowned. I think you go with Smith there. Yeah.
TJ, if you're still there, did TJ score? Did he have a big score in a showdown or something? Did he?
Actually, I saw that on Twitter. Yeah, so congrats to TJ. Actually, I should have brought that up. Yeah,
I need TJ in chat. I need TJ to tell me was that a Sims Lab lineup or was that a hand built, or how did he work that out? I'd like to know. Very curious.
I think he had a big weekend, like 3 pretty good days in a row. So.
Whoa, he must be on a hot streak. It happens. Hot streaks happen. Okay, we get a lot of Swift and Hurts stuff. QQ, Swift or Hurts captain on DK in a single entry.
Smith or Hurts on. I mean, I've got a little bit more Hurts, but like I'm underweight Hurts and overweight Swift, if that makes sense. So it depends whether you mean like relative to the field, but if you're maybe larger field, go with Swift.
I like TJ with a 40K weekend between the UFC, NFL, main, and showdown, all hand built. Very nice, very nice. You're on a hot streak. Ride the hot streak while it's hot. That's all that'd be my advice. Ride the hot streak while it's hot. All right. Third fret capo best. Oh no, third cat. Best tight end option for the Eagles. Best tight end option for. Oh man, that's a good question. With Godare out, I haven't even thought very much about him. But who's your favorite tight end for the Eagles tonight?
I think it's Jack Stoll. I think there's like 3 of them, and I think Stoll's the best option. But it's all like for 150 lineups. I think you just say at most one of them and just let it rip. Because it's impossible. Like if none of them is probably going to get much more than a touchdown, right? So if you're trying to predict that touchdown, I think it's probably Stoll, but it's hard,
It's interesting because I was doing some, just goofing around and doing some sim labs, just throw some in there tonight and playing around, and he kept trying to give me Grant Calcaterra. And I was like, no, I don't want. I got to get that guy out of there. I don't want that. But the Sim Labs was wanting it, so makes you think. The computer, the algorithms are always smarter than the human brain. So,
well, the thing with Calcaterra is he's only 200. So I think Stoll is 3,200. So that's a big price gap. And so actually, if you're trying to just put in, the best price considered guy, it might be Calcaterra.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm expecting the Calcaterra touchdown now because the algorithm knows. The algorithm knows something. It always does. Let's see here. Is it okay to play both quarterbacks in a lineup on DraftKings if you have a running back at captain? Ooh, good strategy question.
Yeah, I think that's okay. It's not something that I would like set a rule that it can't happen. I'd be more inclined to play the running back probably with the opposing quarterback than is like to pair him with his quarterback if I'm picking one. But I think you can play them with both. I'd maybe try to get a little bit different elsewhere because that might be like a common combination.
Lots of good chatter in chat. Keep getting those questions in. We got about 13 minutes. We'll in about 2 or 3 minutes, we'll unleash the Plums play of the night. So we'll unleash that because our boy Butthole Jenkins is in chat. In fact, he says Jerick McKinnon at home is interesting. Question mark. Is Jerick McKinnon interesting to you? I think actually I'll let you answer. I'll let you think about it for a minute. I'll tell you, I think he is kind of interesting, if only for the fact that I don't like Isaiah Pacheco at all. So I kind of by default, I kind of like Jerick McKinnon because of that.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I mean, I think I've got like a single-digit % of McKinnon. Eagles defense. So one thing, the Eagles defense gives up more receptions per game than any other defense in the NFL. So that makes it seem like they're a bad passing defense, which is all we like. All we need is receptions, right? Like we get points for receptions, they don't in the NFL. So maybe McKinnon catches some passes. He's more expensive than he should be on DraftKings. So he's kind of overpriced. So there's maybe other places I'd rather go for the money. But yeah, I agree. I kind of like McKinnon relative to Pacheco, if that makes sense.
All right. Got more stuff going on here. Let's see here. Did we answer that? We didn't answer this one, I don't think. Play two Eagles running backs tonight? Question mark. 2 Eagles running backs in the same lineup. Fits a game script if you're into that kind of thing.
Yeah, I guess you could do it. I think I'd rather play like the Eagles running backs together than the Chiefs running backs together, certainly. And I do think it's possible. Like they seem to rotate those guys a little bit more often. But I do think it's like DeAndre Swift's backfield at this point. So yeah, but I think you can do that. And then it'll probably have a better chance of being unique.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Roughly 11 to 12 minutes left here before this thing locks on us. So I don't want to get too far now before we give our Plums play of the night, just in case it influences your lineup and you want to go change some things around because, Squirrel is he has taken down so many GPPs in live finals recently that this guy moves the needle on your lineup. So if he says something, you might want to listen. So I'm going to let Squirrel go first here so I don't steal any of his plays. Squirrel, Plum's play of the night, give it to the people.
Well, so I'm going to give 3, but I'm going to kind of give them in order, right? So the number 1 Plum's play of the night, I think, is DeAndre Swift. Like I said, I think it's much easier to run against the Chiefs defense than to pass against it. So I think the running game is for Philly is the thing I'm interested in here. So DeAndre Swift. I think, like I said at the top of the show, like if you really like the Chiefs, Eagles defense gives up the most receptions per game in the NFL. So that could be a big Travis Kelce game. And then if you're looking for something way off the board, or it's maybe a little bit more off the board, I think Rashee Rice, given that reception stat I just gave, he's the wide receiver that seems to be kind of floating to the top there for the Chiefs. So in order of what you're feeling like, or maybe if you're looking for something a little bit more off the board, that's who I would feel on my Plums.
All right. I like it. I'm going to give you my Plums play of the night now. And, I did my video earlier and I uncovered this guy and I'm rolling with him tonight. It's Rashee Rice. You kind of glossed over him there and I like that, but I'm going Rashee Rice for a lot of the reasons why you just said. I think Kelce's the number 1 pass catcher, but Rice is the number 1 wide receiver. I think that matters. That's Philly's weakness on defense. Rice has been a guy that Rice has as many touchdowns this year as Travis Kelce. That's crazy stuff right there. And the next wide receiver behind him only has 1 touchdown. So he is the touchdown guy, one of them for this team. This Philly defense, that's what they give up. When they give up touchdowns, it's typically through the air. I like Rashee Rice. Touchdown tonight, like him in the DFS. I like the touchdown prop if you can get it. It was pretty juicy earlier. I don't know what it is now. Maybe my video moved the needle on the sports books. Who knows, man? Maybe we're getting worse odds now, but I'm going Rashee Rice. So we got that going for us. All right. Some more questions. We got 9 minutes left. We're going to whip through these questions right here. Got a lot of them built up here. Rukan Verde, trying to decide what Chiefs wide receiver other than Rashee Rice to use in a large field DK tourneys, currently leaning towards MVS. So no Rashee Rice, he's off the board for you. What's your other receivers you like for the Chiefs?
I'd go Justin Watson, but I don't think you're crazy for going for MVS. They kind of similar wide receivers. So a little bit of a lean towards Watson. You save 600 there. But if you're feeling MVS, don't let me talk you off of it because they're almost interchangeable.
Yeah. Derek Ringering has 2 questions for us. Number 1, DK, single entry, Smith and Gainwell, or Calcaterra and Hurts? So kind of one a star scrub and the other kind of more balanced. Which one you got?
I'd probably go Calcaterra and Hurts. I'm like Calcaterra is going to be owned. Like he'll probably see maybe approaching 10% ownership. I think. So he's not going to sneak by the field because he's only 200. It's just like Hurts is so many points. It's tough to get away from that and go with because Gainwell might not get much at all, and Devontae Smith, is also wide receiver, very variable. I mean, maybe for super large field GPPs, I actually think that that Smith and Gainwell will be less owned as a combination.
Okay, I can get behind that one. His second question was in a GPP. Stoll, Julio Jones, or Zacchaeus? Boy, he's barrel scraping there. But which one of those 3 Philly pass catchers that are really low down there on the totem pole do you got?
Yeah, they're all about the same. I would maybe go Zacchaeus. I think he'll be the least owned.
Agreed.
Of the 3 guys.
You're tossing things up right there. I think you're looking at, man, cross your fingers and hope for a touchdown out of one of them, and that'll make your day. Otherwise, they're not all that great. All right. Favorite player under 4K on DraftKings?
Probably the defenses. But if you're looking for a skill player, and I'd maybe go with Justin Watson, actually.
Yeah.
Just because I think there's a lot more variability there in the scoring. This isn't necessarily going to be a huge defensive scoring game. I'll go Justin Watson.
I'd go Watson or tough one. Maybe under 4K, maybe Sky Moore, just because I like the Philly defense to get toasted a little bit in the secondary by a really good quarterback. So maybe it's Sky Moore instead of Justin Watson or something like that. But yeah, I think we're on the same path there. All right, we got expected targets for Albert Equinebu. Oh, man, I've known this guy for 4 or 5 years, and I still can't. Albert O. Do you think he's a sub 5% dart throw? What kind of targets you think we're looking at tonight for Albert O?
Could be 0. I mean, I think Stoll's going to be the guy. I have some single digit amount of Albert O. Basically just rotating through the 3 Eagles tight ends. He's 400, so he probably doesn't kill you, and he's going to let you get that combination of higher priced players. And so then if he does get a reception, right, then suddenly it's meaningful. So, but I think if they were letting us set a line, it's probably half, right, 0.5.
Oh man. Some bad news coming in the chat here saying Jokic was ejected. Well, that's rough. That's going to bury me already. I'm on the show and I'm buried. So, all right. Kickers, they are both very much in play for single entry DraftKings, right? Question mark. Donnie Watson wants to know about the kickers tonight. Are they both in play?
Yeah, they're absolutely both in play. I like the kickers tonight. Kind of a medium scoring game, but I'll probably own them at their ownership percentage or a little bit higher.
Let's see here. Our own producer Steve is in chat talking about the Devontae Smith first touchdown. I mean, I like Devontae too. The more we're talking about it, the more I like it. So I like that. Question for you, Squirrel, and me. I'll answer it too. I'll let you go first. Do you prefer the Troy Aikman, Joe Buck combination, or do you watch the Manning cast?
I listen with the sound off, to be honest. But if I was going to pick one, I'd probably go with the Mannings. Their clips that I see on Twitter are funnier than the Aikman Buck.
I would answer that by saying, man, oddly enough, when we get to like Monday Night Football, even Sunday Night Football, Monday Night Football, I'll probably watch about sporadically, like maybe 4 or 5 minutes of the game all together. Just every once in a while, I'll tune in and see what's going on. I've kind of get footballed out at a certain point during the week, and I don't watch. The Mannings are good. Aikman Buck is okay. I tell you, I love me some Mark Sanchez on the Sunday afternoon or Sunday morning calls on there. And Greg Olson's really good too as a color guy. But Mark Sanchez is funny and he's smart. I like that one. So that'd be my preference. But another question for you. This is a good one, Squirrel. This is what the people need to know. Is Taylor Swift going to be at the game tonight? Because Maki wants to play Kelsey, and you can't play Kelsey if Swift is not at the game.
I thought that she was not going to be there, so that's what I modeled with my lineups. But I don't think she's there. But I did play a ton of Travis Kelce. So
I'll tell you what, that's a big letdown for that man. All right, McKinnon or Butker, last player on DK single entry, McKinnon or Butker?
I'd go Butker.
Is the defenses playable on DraftKings?
Yeah, always playable, right? And it's raining, so you don't know, but prefer the kickers to the defenses.
Taylor Swift will not be at the game. She is playing a show in South America. Thanks for the info, guys. We appreciate that's what we needed to know. I'm going to get off my Kelsey now. I'm going to see if hopefully I got enough time to do some edits. Derek says Romo is the best. Romo was the best when he first came up. Then they started, outdoing him. They brought in other just retired players to come in who are just as sharp as him and pretty damn good. So Romo's kind of taking a tumble down on those rankings, but he's still really good though. All right, guys, I think we got about 2 minutes left. That's going to wrap it up for us here for Monday Night Football. Should be a great game. Thank you for tuning in. Squirrel, do you have anything before we jump out of here to give to the people?
Just, emphasis, I think Eagles running game, particularly Swift, and then Chiefs passing game. It's tough to always decipher with those wide receivers. So I like Kelsey the best, then Rice after that.
Okay, guys. Thank you for tuning in and being very interactive with the show. We will be back for some sort of something. Actually, it's Thanksgiving this week. We have no idea what the schedule is going to be. So tell you what, though, me and Squirrel will be back next Monday. That's one thing you can bank on. I guess I actually don't even know his schedule. Maybe he's bailing out. He's got live finals. So let's rephrase this. Let's start all over. I don't know what the hell's going on, but I'm going to do some shows at some point in the future. Hope you guys tune in. We appreciate you tuning in. Good luck in all those GBPs. For Squirrel, producer Steve, I was your host, Head Chopper, and we're out of here.